Hello, if you're watching this video, this is going to be a quick guide to submitting comic books for the in-house signings at CGC. So right now, as you can see on the screen right here, we have 3 different signings that will be coming up in the end of May. We have Clayton Crane, we have Frank Miller, and also George Perez. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to go to cgccomics.com and you're going to sign up for an account. Now, when you go to the website, you're going to see at the top right corner here a sign in and a join button. You're going to go to join, and it's going to show this screen right in front of you right here, and you're going to click join now on this free tier. So for all of these in-house signings, they're open to everyone, and all you really need is a free account. And after you make an account, if you'd like, there are other tiers. If you plan on submitting a lot of books in the future, you can get the premium, which gives you a $150 credit towards grading costs. Shipping costs will be calculated separately. Of course, there's also the elite option that's mostly recommended for stores. And there's also $25 associates, but that's up to you if it's worth it or not. Most people get the premium, or if you're only doing the in-house signing, you just use the free option. You can see the different benefits to each tier. But after you make an account, you're going to go to this icon here, My CGC, and you're going to click down on My Submissions. And it will bring you to a page like this. Now, once again, if you have a different tier account, you will have more options, but this is just the options available for the free account for the in-house signing. So you can only submit comics or magazines. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on to the online form, and it will bring you to a page like this, CGC submission form. You're going to go through and select through the options. We're going to submit a comic, for example. And you can see right here, you have show drop-offs. We have mechanical errors, also uses that option. Awesome Con, CGC Spring free member promotion. Right now there's a free promotion, free submissions to CGC. Usually it costs the $25 to send it directly to them as opposed to dropping off at a show. And then also they will be appearing at MegaCon. So we're going to go to the private signing. So you can see there's a pop-up here, private signing. All books need to be submitted with window bags and backing boards. We're going to go over that in a bit. So CGC only guarantees a signature. The color of the marker or location is at the discretion of the artist. So we're going to go over this in a bit, and the window bags when we talk about those. We're just going to click continue. So we have their 3 options here. We have the Frank Miller, Clayton Crane, George Perez. So let's go with George Perez for example. And you get to also choose grading and pressing. So pressing is optional. If you only want to get your book signed and encapsulated, you're just going to go with the grading option. What I would recommend is if you do plan on having other people sign your books in the future, I would wait until that last signature has been added onto your book before going with the pressing option. So I know for me, I have other signatures I plan to add onto some of these books that I will be getting signed, so I will not be having them pressed. So we're just going to get them graded, and we're going to go with next. And it's going to ask you to enter the comic information. So my example that for books that I did was copies of New Teen Titans, issue number 1. which George Press did the cover for. And it'll take you through, depending on what title, series, publisher, you can go through this information and fill it out. And it is a book from 1980, not 2018, so it's an older book. For declared value, you can put whatever you'd like. I usually just I round up the value of the fair market value of the book or whatever I purchased it for. And we gotta check that right there, signatures. Resubmitting. So resubmitting is just for if books are already graded and in that plastic case. So it's going to ask you to enter that certification number, which is right above the barcode if you're looking at a CGC slab. But otherwise, if you're just submitting raw books that are just in a bag and board, you don't need to worry about that. Pedigree. You can look up on Google CGC pedigree. Pedigree basically represents certain books from certain collections that have been sold or auctioned off. Some of those are rarer than others, but again, you can look onto Google and research more about that. My books, let's say this one, for example, it's not that special. Just one I purchased off eBay, and we're going to go with next. So it says right there, $75. That includes grading and the signature fee. So shipping is going to be calculated separately in a bit. So we're just going to add that to cart. And then you're going to go to cart and check out and go through that process. And yeah, so you're going to go fill out your address and go through all this information, and it'll go through different shipping options. I usually go with the UPS ground. And then after that, it'll take you to a page to print out a packing slip. So here's my example. This is my form. I'm submitting 3 copies of New Teen Titans, 3 copies of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and a copy of Tales of the Teen Titans. So total cost $406, which comes out to about $58 a book. And so you can see here, UPS shipping method. Shipping only cost me $26. If you're going for more insurance, you can go through USPS. But usually UPS ground covers it for the most part. And if any damages happen along the way for these books traveling from CGC to you, you can always send them back to CGC to get a new case, which is called the reholder service. So it's going to ask you to print 2 of these packing slips, and then also these private signing cards. So these will basically help keep track of what books belong to who, and you're going to basically slip these cards right behind the bag and board of each book. If you have a label printer at home, I do a lot of shipping from home. I just printed it on 4x6 labels and cut these and put the sticker, the label, on the back of the backing boards. So after you have these packing slips printed and the private signing cards printed, now it's time to move on to prepping your books. So you're going to want to go onto the CGC forums. So from the main page, you just basically hit chat boards. You're going to go down to the forum that says signature room, and there's going to be a thread called how to window bag your books for SS with photos. SS is short for signature series, which is the books that we will be getting signed, and that's their system that they call it, the grading. So basically you can go through this thread and look and see how to get your books window bag, this is basically what it means. You're going to use blue painter's tape and tape off the area which you want it signed. Some people do it differently. There's a few different ways to do it. Basically, what I do is I put the tape down and then I use a utility knife or X-Acto knife and then cut out that section. And then I'll rotate that cut off part and use that as the back of the board. And sometimes if you need to, you can also double board. Just got to be careful depending on the size of your bag and your comic. You don't want that book to be too tight inside. And as we scroll further down, see, there you go. You have some examples here. There is a company that does make these bags already with a blue section off onto it. Most collectors don't use them. What you'll want to do is actually section it off yourself. And so if you're not sure where you want it signed, you can look on eBay, go through the forums as well, and look through to find eBay sold search or what's already available on eBay and type in CGC SS. You know, for example, I'm getting George Perez book signed CGC SS Perez or CGC SS Crane or CGC Frank Miller signed. And you can see examples for the books you're getting signed, what colors have already been used or where the creator has already signed it before for ideas. And then once you know where you want to position your signature, you can go ahead and section that part off. And again, like the pop-up mentioned before, ink color requests are not guaranteed, and where the signature will be is not guaranteed either. Certain creators won't sign certain books or only sign in a certain area, so that's up to CGC or the artist or the creator to decide. So after you have all your books prepared, you've already done all the window bags, you've got the signing cards from earlier, you have these on the back of the board, or you've stuck it to the back of the board, that's fine too. You're going to want to go ahead and pack it and ship it off to CGC. And if you go on YouTube, there is a video that CGC has made called How to Pack Your Submissions to CGC. So what you want to do is go ahead and watch that video if you want to do it yourself. If you don't have any cardboard or bubble wrap and supplies like that, you can go ahead. They have shipping kits now available. So CGC has set up a store at shop.collectiblesgroup.com, and they have a small shipping kit for 1 to 10 books, as well as a large shipping kit for 11 through 40 books. I'm not sure how many books are allowed for the signing for each packing slip, but you're going to want to ask CGC for more clarification on that if you have a lot of books. But if you're watching this video, you probably don't have that many, or you just have a few, which it's not that big of a deal, so you don't really need to worry about this. But for those that want this option and just want a ready-made kit, you can just use this. You're going to bubble wrap it, tape it together, and send it on back in that same box. And last but not least, you're going to want to mark your box. So if we go into these announcement articles, these news articles, it tells you at the bottom here, please write on all sides of the box. So you're basically going to write their initials. So for Frank Miller, it's FM. For Clayton Crane, it's CC. And for George Perez, it's GP. So that's about it. Shipping to CGC, you're going to have to pay for yourself. But everything from you to CGC, CGC to you, has already been accounted for